Time for another final expense telesales call review. Let's begin.
Come on.
This is Josh calling you back with the final expense quote you requested on Facebook. You looking into this for yourself or a loved one?
All right, so a couple of things here to start off this call. First of all, Josh here, agent at the Dig Agency, my agency. He's in our free lead program. What he's doing here is using a very relaxed, non-high pressure type of tonality. The tonality you have over the phone is very important. There's two schools of thought. You can be laid back, chill, like Josh is, or you can be like the Orange Glow guy, right, and be all hyped up and super excited. Both work. I would say use the strategy that is best suited to your personality, and you'll find that it'll work just fine. As far as the script being used here, Josh is very casual. Hey, it's Josh calling you about the final expense quote you requested. This is something you're looking on yourself or for a loved one. Again, we get right into it with our newly modified script where right now our average is 6.1% conversion, which is pretty incredible, doing outbound on Facebook leads. And this is the very script that we're using. Most agents are lucky to even get 5%. So the point is, this type of direct approach has yielded us tremendous fruit, and we highly, highly recommend it. Let's continue.
What is it for?
This is for the burial insurance that you were looking into, to cover your funeral and things like that.
Oh, that was for me.
Okay. And how long have you been looking?
And again, this is, more really fact-finding, how long you've been looking. This is what we like asking in the beginning. Again, pro tip for those of you getting started selling over the phone. Again, what we found is the 60, 90-minute plus scripts, which again, guilty as charged here. We had something very much like that. They get conversions, but they don't keep people on the hook in many cases, whereas this kind of direct to the throat type of script, it gets right to it. It gets people hooked. It gets them interested. They don't get annoyed because it's taking longer than 10 or 15 minutes. And it helps us do more calls for the day so that we can increase our conversions because we're doing simply more presentation. So again, more reason enough to definitely do this.
Well, not very long, but
do you currently have anything in place or?
No. I was like,
yeah. So do you currently have anything in place? We like asking that obviously because there's two different tracks that we go down in our script. The first track, word track, is if they have no coverage. We're going to do a lot more fact finding, a lot more value building. Like, God forbid, if you died tomorrow, what happens to you? You'll hear this more from Josh in a minute. The other track that we go down is if they have existing coverage. It's all about beating that price, figuring out what they have to, because in many cases, it's a 2-year waiting period product or an overinflated price type of product that they just bought, and we can swoop in there, get them a better deal. So the conversation on that word track is more about getting the client a better deal, either through the amount of coverage or through a better price. So let's continue.
watching TV.
Oh.
And I sing, and I said, I'm 78. I soon will be 79 years old in February, and I don't even have belly insurance, just in case.
All right, so some of you out there who are pros are like, this lady's a lay down. A lay down, if you're new to the business, is somebody who's like, you can just tell, we're a minute and 15 seconds in this has to close. She's nice. She's conversational. She doesn't have any life insurance. It finally struck on her at 79, I think, or 78, right? That she needs it. And she's volunteering all this information pretty quickly. But here's the deal. The pros also know that the deals like this just don't automatically close. Sometimes you got to proceed with caution, right? They're excited, but don't get too caught. Do they have 9 toes in the grave? Can you actually get them covered? Are they broke? So the point is just follow the script and treat it just like any other lead going through the process. Don't, in other words, and this is the moral of the story, because you feel like this is a laydown, don't abandon the script and abandon the process. Follow the process like you're supposed to, because sometimes you get curveballs thrown at you.
Something happened. So many just leaving. I said, the Lord is giving me the opportunity to get myself together.
Now, here's the deal. Pro tip. I'm full of them today. You should be writing this stuff down, making notes. What do you think you should be writing down here? Think about it for a second. If I'm Josh, I'm thinking, she's telling me the opportunity has come. The Lord's given me, the heads up. People around her are dying, and that she should hop on this. Again, the red carpet's laid out to you. Take it. The other thing too is I'm keeping notes here from what she's saying. She's had people die that she obviously loves and cares about. I want to eventually talk about, what did they die from? How was the funeral? How did the final expenses get taken care of? So you see what we're doing? We're actively listening. And if you do that and ask the right questions like Josh has, man, they give you all the ammo you need to seal the deal. It's just how well you're going to listen and how well you're going to respond with more questions to really get a connection and depth so that the client sees there's no other opportunity or option than buying today from you.
So I think I better check into it. It must have been a special or something that was going on for older people, right?
Yeah. It's these programs are kind of designed to be affordable for seniors on a fixed income. That's 98% of my clients are collecting Social Security benefits or disability and on a fixed income like that.
All right, so I've heard some people in our space that do live calls. They make up these arbitrary fake specials. I heard one dude who was like, yeah, it's the Thanksgiving Day special today. That's why we're giving you this discount, or a Black Friday. It's like, don't lie. If you start lying about little things like this, you start lying about the big things. And you got in this, for you guys out there, don't fall trapped to this or victim to this, coming up with these BS reasons. Like, you can give a good answer like Josh did here and tell the truth. Like, yeah, she says, are these special programs? You're in control. You should do the ethical thing, which Josh did. Yeah, these are special programs. They're designed specifically. Our clients, 98% of them are fixed income. And the point is like, these are programs specially designed for seniors, but we're not making stuff up to get the sale. And what you don't want to ever do is sacrifice your ethics to get a sale, because the more comfortable you get with lying like that, the more likely you're going to just fail out of the business or get into some deep trouble and lose your license, right? Not sleep right at night if you have a conscience. So, just think about this stuff. Don't go the route of being a liar or, just making stuff up as you go.
Right, and that's what I'm doing.
Okay. So you came to the right place, and I'm a broker as well. So what that means is I'm shopping, about 35 of the top insurance companies to find you that lowest monthly rate.
Uh-huh.
So beautiful. So this is our introductory phase in the script. Tell them who you are, what you do, and why the client should care. So I'm a broker. I shop the major carriers out there, and my job for you is to get you the best combination of price and coverage so that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. Does that make sense, Mrs. Jones? So we say that because it positions us in the mind of the prospect. It tells them our specialty, and it helps trigger in them too, like, hey, this guy's knows where it's at. He's got what I want. Versus, hey, all insurance agents, are different, but maybe if you don't say this, they're going to think you're all the same, right? So make sure you say this early on, just like Josh did, to set inside the client's mind, oh, this is what makes him special, and therefore I should actually listen to the dude.
Pretty much as simple as that. Now, I mean, if God forbid, if you didn't get this taken care of, who would have to end up paying the bill?
Beautiful, beautiful. This is a great pre-qualifying question, really fact finder question, kind of the same. Idea behind this is simple. Put pressure on the client to imagine what it would be like if they don't have coverage in place. Who's going to pay for it? Would you want them to pay for it? Is it right for them to pay for it? If they can feel the emotion and the position of them being in that state where, God forbid, they're not prepared, and they feel bad about that, that is powerful to getting the sale done today. Because why do we ask these questions, right? Why don't we just go right to the price, right? She sounds interested. Here's the deal. Our clients are world-class procrastinators, okay? Thank you, John Duggar, who coined that term, stuck with me forever. World-class procrastinators. She literally is. She's 78, rolling up 78, ain't got no coverage. You think that she's on top of things? She's almost 80. She doesn't have any life insurance. She's just thinking, might need to get around to it. It's not a criticism. It's just the reality of the clients that we deal with. And so the point is, there lies likely in the prospect's psychological state to just, forget about it. Tomorrow always comes. Meaning, I don't have to make a decision today. So I say all this because this is why we ask these questions. Because we have to break the conditioning to get them to buy today.
That's what I'm saying, my daughter, and I know she don't have the money, and I'm like, oh, I'm playing around. I should stop.
Write this down. I'm playing around. I should stop. My daughter, she can't do it. Why do we write this down? Because we're getting the ammo to close this sale, and at the end where there will be objections, you just take what they told you and turn it around on them, right? You tell them, look, you said you need to stop playing around. You said your daughter can't do this. So this is why you should buy today. That's just what you told me. So let's do it. You know you need this. Now imagine how powerful of an objection rebuttal that would be at the end by just using the words that they said.
Nothing major.
No, nothing major. When I kept saying that, and I'm like, oh, I need to get this settled straight.
Sure.
So I would be okay.
It's definitely important stuff.
Right.
So I'll show up some programs for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, one thing you got to get good at here. Now, this is a fine line to walk, but this happens with our clientele in the final expense space. They're seniors. They're much more isolated more often than not than the rest of the population. And when somebody nice calls, and they're a nice person, they like to conversate. They like to have a conversation. You need to be very aware of when to listen to the client, when it's valuable in progressing the sale, and when to progress the presentation, because what they're saying or talking about is irrelevant to the closing of the sale. It comes off as rude, potentially, but you have to cut the prospect off at some point. So this is kind of just a sense of things. We'll see what Josh says here. It might add more value, although I would say, again, armchairing it here. We're obviously watching it, not in the thick of it like Josh. I mean, I've got enough here that I'm ready to move into the application, ready to ask health questions, position what we have, and close. There's not really much more that I'd like to ask. So, depending on where she goes here, may listen a little bit more or look for the exit ramp and get back to my presentation and closing this prospect.
I was more or less at the time thinking about cremation, but because I don't know if she's my only child, and I don't know if she's going to be here in Texas. And, I think about my family, my immediate family, my family members. They're all in a different state, and no one is there to really see about the place. Their heads, they have headstones, but to see about the grave site and everything, and unless it's myself and my sister that lives, and she lives in Colorado. And those people there don't see about the cemetery. It's just going to, waste. It's just messing up. So if I don't really call special time, maybe once a month, for my nephew that lives in Jackson, Mississippi, to go there, these kids don't think about that,
So Josh is doing real good with just letting the client talk because, again, this is relevant. So I want the client to talk. I don't want to interrupt them. And it's helping her sell the deal a little bit more. She's selling herself on cremation. Again, a lot of our prospects, they don't sit here and talk like with people about dying, about burial or cremation. This is all stuff swirling up in their head. So this is like a therapy session to some extent, right? Just kind of getting it out there. And it helps us sell the deal. So keep letting her say this and kind of formulate, again, a plan or a program that would best suit her. In this case, maybe cremation would be better.
Yeah, no, they don't. And to be honest, a lot of you say kids, but a lot of older folks don't either. I have to tell people that kind of stuff every day. You're one of the smarter ones.
So I love this script. Hey, it's not just the kids that don't care. It's the adults too. And you're one of the smarter ones to be on top of this. Is stroke the client, make them feel good about their realization they need to get burial insurance, right? And then basically, at this point, if I were Josh, again, armchairing this, look for the exit ramp. Hey, you're smart to think of this. This is really good. So let's do this. Let me ask you some questions. So this is getting us back on the script. I would be looking for this process because we may be in this process just kind of going back and forth here 5, 10, 15 minutes. And before we know it, the client's exhausted through all the talking she's done, not realizing, she wasn't supposed to, or we were supposed to take control, right? So let's see what happens.
So,
Right. So I don't think I want I really don't think I want the cremation, because I don't think that, and I really don't want the other part, but because it's so expensive. Tell me something about the seniors, the amount on that.
Yeah, good. So here's what happens sometimes. This is what happens if you don't take control. They'll start to take control. And it goes back to what we were talking about a moment ago. But here's the deal. When we're doing this and the client asks a question, tell me about the amount of coverage. You can't give the answer. We don't know what they qualify for. We haven't asked them any questions at this point, right? And so what we need to do instead is come up with a process to answer the question but continue. So let's listen to what Josh says, and then I'll critique it.
Yeah, so we'll jump right into it here. They kind of, I just need you to tell me where I should start shopping, because they have these programs sorted in different price ranges.
So beautiful. So he didn't give the coverage, which you never do. He said, yeah, let's jump right into it, and I need you to help me out. I'm going to do the shopping for you. Again, we're hooking them in. Hey, we're shopping. We're looking for the price. We're getting you the quote. So that keeps their engagement high. And now Josh, I believe, is going to start asking health questions to continue on where he left off.
To make it convenient. So I imagine we don't want the ones that are around $400 a month, so we'll skip those for now.
No.
So this is a part of the script. This is called a price anchor. Josh used it beautifully. So need your help looking at the prices. I see there's ones we actually have for $400. I figure that's a little too high, so we'll skip that one. The idea behind that is to get some kind of rapport with the client that we're looking at for the budget. And it helps also position lesser amount of coverage, like $150 to $200 a month, which is high relative to the average case size. Our average case size in our agent's is about $75 a month. That sounds better than $400. So again, everything's relative, right? Price is relative, and we don't know what a client can and cannot afford. But by doing this price anchor, everything sounds that much better. Okay, and that lessens the shock when we ask them for $150, $200 a month.
But that's crazy. But as far as what you can afford, are you looking for something between maybe $80 to $100 a month or so?
That'll be something. That'll be cheaper.
All right. So for you guys at home, I want you to think about this. $80 to $100 a month. She says that would be even cheaper. Is that a yes? Well, I'll tell you the answer. It's no. It is not a yes. It is a maybe. In the rule of selling the premium, this is what this is, where we ask for a budget range, not a face amount, because clients think about their budget. Car sales do this, works in insurance. I've done it for 10 plus years. We need to see and hear complete 100% confirmation they can't actually afford it. So when I'm doing something like, hey, if I can qualify for a program that's $80 to $100 a month, does that fit your budget? If they say anything other than a yes, it's a no. And when I hear that, it may sound like I think I can afford that. That's a no. I might be able to afford that. That's a no. So when I hear something like that, or a no, I'm going to back it down one and say, okay, what if I can find you a different program and it was between $60 and $80 a month? So we start high, right? And then we go lower over time to where I'll take $10 to $20 a month. I have no qualms about a low price. I mean, it's all about activity, right? The money takes care of itself if you help people. The only thing I prefer to do is, in this case, I would try to go with the client to do 150 to 200. And the thing is, she kind of didn't say that this was bad, but she may have said yes to this if we started at 200. Just little thing. I like to go for the jugular when I can, although a sale is a sale. So.
Yeah, that would sound pretty good.
Okay.
So that last point kind of important. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I might follow up by saying, okay, just to make sure, what you're saying is if we can find something at $80 to $100 a month, you're telling me, bottom line, that works for your budget. That sounds good, right? I want to be 100% sure here. I don't want to leave anything to chance when it's coming to something as critical as how much they can afford.
Well, we'll see what we could find for you. It's obviously based on your age and your health. Are you a smoker?
Yeah. No, stopped smoking over 40 something years ago.
Okay. And what's your birthday?
February 16th, 1945.
Like you say, time is of the essence.
Right, it is. Yeah, it.
Okay.
I
And
should forget that out of the way. So I feel a little safer. I'm given a chance now. So I just
there you
need to
go.
try to get better.
Again, notes, man. Write this stuff down because you might need it if they somehow change your mind, and it happens.
See. Mm-hmm.
Got to listen when the Lord speaks to you, right?
Right. So on a
Yeah.
case like this, what happens? I just get the insurance and pay on the insurance policy every month or something like that. So if anything do ever happen, everything is paid for.
Yep, precisely. That's it. So when you pass, whatever the value of the policy is, that gets deposited right into your kid's bank account, whoever the beneficiary is, and it's just a lump sum.
So as we get into this, again, this is a critique. I don't ever answer client questions like this unless I'm closing. You want to try to stay on top of your script as much as possible, because even something as harmless as this doesn't sound bad. It'll get you off of the track that you're trying to run, your script. So what should you have done? I would have said, hey, good question. Let me get through these questions first. Then I'll be able to tell you exactly what we can do and exactly how it works. Because in case, what if you say this and you mess up and say it's first day full coverage, and Mrs. Jones here is on oxygen 24/7, or has, cancer or something, Alzheimer's, right? So you don't want to make promises you necessarily cannot keep, right? So I like and would prefer Josh to have said, hey, great question. And I'm definitely going to get to that, but let me ask you these health questions just so I can accurately tell you exactly how this works and not make a mistake.
Here's what we'll do. Do you have your pen and paper out?
Yeah.
So we're going to start off small on the quotes here. We're going to start off with $5,000 worth of coverage. That would be a bare minimum to at least cover a cremation if that's, the way it ended up going. So for $5,000, if you qualify, you're at $46 a month for that. From there,
Okay.
we'll do a little jump up here. Let's go to 10,000, which would leave you at $89 a month. And then I know we're kind of getting up over the budget here, but just to show you a big one, and we can play with the numbers a little bit, but 15,000, you'd be looking at $133 a month.
So a couple of things I would prefer to see on the pricing here. Number one, I would prefer to see the first two prices in the range that the client gave me, and then the third one be at a stretch goal. So if the client says they can absolutely afford XY budget, in this case 80 to 100, price number one is going to be approximately 80, maybe give or take in that range, so maybe 75 to 80 for the first one. And usually with the quoters like Insurance Toolkits or Best Plan Pro, you can solve for the premium, so just put in 75 or 80 bucks and see how much that gives. Then I want one that's close to 100, right? Because they said they could afford that, so I want to stretch it to 100, right? And then the third one, good, better, best, the best one, I want it to be kind of like what Josh described here. I might try to go one interval up. There's not really any sort of science to this, but I want to stretch the amount in case the client feels like they can afford it after listening to my sales pitch. So in this case, I want to show them 120, 130, somewhere in that range, and then say which one do you want to start with. Because if I give the 5,000, I might be in a position where they take it and I lose the ability to sell a bigger deal when another agent can come in 90 days, sell the client something they actually could afford, and then knock you out, replace it with the new plan that they were just sold, right? So you don't want to ever be in that position. So I believe selling to the client's budget, whatever they say they can afford, we want to sell them something.
So you're not approved for anything yet, obviously, but let's say you were. Which one of these options would you most like to qualify for?
Okay, wait just a minute. Okay, the cremation.
Don't say anything. Josh is doing good. Don't volunteer to jump in there and help them think. They need to do the thinking, okay? If they have questions, I'll ask. But if you start jumping in there and saying this and that arbitrarily, meaning you don't really have any reason to, the client becomes confused, they change their mind, and decide to wait. So patiently and quietly Say nothing while they were thinking.
You said 5,000. How much are the cremations these days?
So
I know my
it varies depending where you go, but it's anywhere for Texas, anywhere between, maybe 1,000 on the low end, and then 3,500 to 4,000 would be a quite an expensive one, but it could get there depending where you go.
Now, here's the deal. What's the X factor to that, y'all? Inflation, right? The cost for doing any kind of funeral services have gone up, and they will go up. This client who's 79, 78, she knows what it was like back in the day to buy a gallon of milk, probably like 5 or 10 cents. Not like today, it's like $5, right? So funeral expenses are the same. So make sure when you're explaining pricing that, hey, I mean, you can get the Folgers can cremation for $1,000. You know what I mean? Most of the averages are about $3,500, but keep this in mind. Prices have gone up crazy. Have you seen houses and food? Same thing in funeral services. So I think it would be safer to have at least 5,000. Probably better to even have 10,000 because there's always more expenses than we figure, right? So don't sell yourself short, guys, here, and just sell today's prices. Sell tomorrow's and the risk of how high it could be.
Because you said the 10,000 would be 89. We better go with cremation.
And if you want to, because let me ask you, I mean, honest question for an honest answer, 10,000 of coverage for 89 a month, is that something that's quite comfortable and you could handle that every single month, or is that something that's kind of tight and you're going to have to work for it?
Right.
Is it something you'd have to kind of make sure that was something that was made every month, or would it be easy?
A little tight there.
Now, remember what we talked about earlier? If you don't hear 100% yes, I'm backing it down. And she kind of got to the yes, and again, armchairing it here. But when they kind of go, yeah, let's see about that. I think I can. Yeah, I can afford it. I want to make sure. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to back it down to 60 to 80, right, in this example here, right? Because luckily this client's great to deal with. But some clients, they'll just tell you they're not interested. They'll not tell you the full story, right? So you want to handle this stuff in the moment of getting the budget, not later.
Right there.
I kind of could sense that. So I'll knock it down just a little bit, not a ton, but to 8,000. 8,000 worth of coverage, you're looking at 72 a month. Is that something that's a little more comfortable?
Yeah.
As opposed to 89?
We're still knocking it down to maybe $17.
I could keep going down for you. 7,000, you're at 63 a month.
But is that for cremation or what? Or regular?
This is for anything. So if your daughter decides.
So the little issue we're here in is she said she wants, let's go with cremation. Did you guys hear that, right? And that implied the 5,000. But I think Josh didn't listen to that well enough when I was talking about the 10,000 being affordable, to not affordable. The better strategy here is to tell the client why they need 5,000 or why they would need more. You have to give the client a reason to buy a certain amount of coverage. So that's where that inflation talks comes in. It comes in with the other expenses, and then listening to the client here. So, if you want a cremation, do you need 10,000? Probably not, but maybe 5 to 7,000 you do. So maybe pricing it lower to that point. But I think there's just a miscommunication here, which Josh is working through just fine. But just so you guys understand what's going on here.
To do a cremation with you, she'll take this money. She'll do the cremation for less than 5,000. That'll leave her the rest of it to do, everything else with. Let's
cover.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Will it cover the bear, open and close the grave?
Yeah. So it's cash. It's cash that gets deposited right into her bank account. So it's up to her to take that money and use it to pay for this kind of stuff. So it'll go to anything. She could go buy a ham sandwich with it at the grocery store if she wants to. It's not money with, contingencies or strings attached. It's just money that she.
So the thing here is simplify the answers here, because especially at the close, this is where this stuff matters, because she's thinking through the confusion she has. The answer here would be, her question being, does this pay for the opening and closing? The answer I'd say is, Mrs. Jones, yes. This is going to pay for the opening. It's going to pay for the close. It's going to pay for everything, so you have peace of mind and that you do not have to worry, nor does your daughter worry about how to pay this bill. Does that make sense? Perfect. So let's look at these prices. How about we look at 7 and then get back to closing, okay? You don't want to add anything excessive here, which, Josh, it's a little too much here, just because it can aid, it doesn't aid in clarity sometimes.
Yes. So that's kind of why I made that joke earlier. At the end of the day, if she wanted to, she could just run off and leave the country with the money and do nothing.
She wouldn't get very far on that.
But I know she wouldn't do that. I know she wouldn't do that. You raised her better than that.
So I know I'll come back and get her.
Come back and haunt her butt, huh?
Haunt her butt. She wouldn't want to hear that. Ma, that's what she'll say. Ma. Okay. So, okay, let's try maybe the 8,000.
By now, y'all know I'm not convinced. Try not. You're either going to do it or not. So you sure, Mrs. Jones, script-wise, my response is, you're saying that 8,000 works, right? 100%. Because we can go lower. You'll still be all right. This needs to be affordable for you.
And at the end of the day, just for the record, you can always add additional coverage later, so if at least you can have this in the meantime. And then if later on you decide, like, hey, I can handle a little bit more premium, then you just pick up some extra and add some additional. There's not a limit on this kind of stuff.
And the way we'll do it, see, I get some Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
And things like this, that's very important. I would like to just have it taken out of my Social Security check on the 3rd of every month. This way I know the 3rd of every month.
Yep. Luckily for you, that's pretty much the only way these companies do it. So that's exactly how it'll.
So at this point, the transition I'm waiting for here is, and Josh handled it perfectly. You're in luck. That's exactly how we do it. But we need to transition into the application, because, again, the more we stay on this price thing and the coverage and this and that, or the less commitment we're going to get. We need to close and then move into the plan. Okay, so the 8,000 is what we're going with. Who do you want your beneficiary to be? How do you spell your first and last name, right? We got to get to, that's the transitionary script that we use to get to the actual application. Okay, we need to do that now.
Be done. And they actually have a really cool system, but they have a Social Security billing program to where if the 3rd ever lands on a weekend or a holiday, they're not going to try to draft you too soon or anything like that. It'll always match up with what the Social Security office is doing.
Other thing here that I think is worth criticism is you shouldn't give the benefits of the plan after the premium close. The last thing you tell the prospect is the price, okay? You don't save the benefits of the program until after the price. You sell the product, you sell the benefits before you get to the price. So the better way to go about this is, before I'm showing price, I'm going to say, so here's how the program works. The company that we work with is called Trinity Family Benefit. The reason we love them is because based on your health, they're going to give you the best combination of price and coverage. And boy, do they have some of the best rates for people that live in Texas. And here's what the rates are. Even before that, my mistake. I would also add, so here's the benefits. With this policy, the rates never increase. With this policy, you can never be canceled because you get too old or your health changes. And best of all, because of your health, if you qualify, you're fully protected from the first payment date. This isn't like a lot of plans out there that make you wait 2 full years, like Mutual of Omaha's plan, or Colonial Life, or Colonial Penn, excuse me. So point being, you got to position the benefits here before you pitch price, okay? And to me, this is a big error, because a lot of the time, the client's like, I'll need to think about it. And they're like, why do you need to think about it? Oh, who's this with? How's it work? And you don't want them to even condition them thinking about they need to think about it. So say the benefits of the plan first. Don't save it till after the sale, because once you show the prices, it's over. And you don't want to forget the most important thing to sell them on, which is why they should buy from you today. And sharing the information about the company is vital in making that happen.
So that way you'll never lose your coverage from lapsing, and they'll also never overdraft you.
Right.
And it's good what he's describing there with the Social Security deposit billing. That's definitely a big benefit of Trinity, is they time the billing with the deposit date, not a numerical date, and that improves persistency tremendously. Our company has about a 93, 94% first-year persistency with Trinity Family Benefit, which is just mind-blowing considering final expense tends to have a perception of having more lapses, but not the case with Trinity. Okay, so that's it for the application. Josh went on to close this client. He's now getting into the application, writing it up, so we're going to wrap it up there. We don't ever share the information with clients, of course, but that is how it's done. So some takeaways from this particular call. Number one, sell the benefits before you get to the price. That is very important that you always do that first and foremost in the close of the presentation. Also, make sure that you ensure the client can actually afford the budget range when you ask for it. If they say anything other than an absolute 100% convicted yes, it's a no. So simply lower the budget in order to get that convicted 100% absolute yes. Beyond that, this is a great example of a call. The opening was dynamite, handling some of those kind of weaker objections that came midstream. Perfect. Continuing on the script, not getting off course too long. We're at the 19-minute mark here, getting into the application. I'd say it's pretty good for telesales. So if you enjoyed this content, make sure you subscribe and like to this video. We do a lot of these live sales call analysis with our people and others as well. And I think they're so valuable so that you guys can get some insight to how selling final expense really works. If you're interested in selling final expense, go to daviddufour.com. We train agents nationally in all states to sell final expense over the phone, just like this with Josh. We have a program where you can buy your own leads. We even have a free lead program that works absolutely amazing, where all you have to do is just sell, and we'll take care of the rest. We train you. We have great carriers, proprietary lead programs, and proprietary carriers that are great for telesales you won't find anywhere else. And you got to go to daviddufour.com if you want to learn more. And thank you so much for watching. See you.